Let me bring on board Peter McGuire of Exim Australia, joining us live to understand what to make of the Fed statement. Great to have you on the show, Peter. The message was fairly clear that even though the job market remains hot, that will not deter the Fed from cutting rates, right? And he has hinted at 3 interest rate cuts this year, that is in line with the dot plot. Markets, you think the markets are relieved and that's why we saw a relief rally play out? And B, do you see more legs to the rally in the equity markets?
Well, good morning, Nandita, and lovely to see you from Sydney. Yeah, a couple of things. First off, yes, there's no doubt about that as far as the 3 rate cuts. It was very convincing, and not only convincing, but also 67% of analysts are now saying we're going to see it in June as far as blast off. So there's your first one, and they'll have to be careful as far as timing because you've also got an election early November. So from a political standpoint. Now, the second part of it is, yes, gold was bid up, US dollar came under pressure, 2-year yield was pushed down about 7 basis points, and the S&P 500 closed at an all-time high. So that tells me there's a lot of confidence. That confidence is also washed across Asia markets because Australia's well up and Japan's well up as well, and Hong Kong. So it seems to be a little bit of a positive sentiment that's sweeping the markets.
I want to quickly get in your thoughts on oil prices as well. We've seen a resurgence of sorts, right? It has touched $87 a barrel. Do you see crude heading towards $90 pretty soon? And if yes, is this a transitory move, or do you think $90 will be the next normal for crude prices?
Well, I do think it'll trend up and it'll probably take out 90. I'm not sure as far as timing. There was the way it was moving as of the early part of the week, and certainly over last week, everyone thought that it might even get there by Good Friday in the sense of Easter. So that's only a bit over a week away. And the overall, I think, push to the upside has been very, very strong buying. And we're all very conscious as far as, global picture and what OPEC's positioning is. So, yes, I think probably so. I won't be surprised sometime in April to be above that 90 handle. And let's just see how it goes as far as summer driving season in the Northern Hemisphere as far as consumption and so on.
Right. Also want to get in your thoughts on, what the BOJ, the Bank of Japan, has done recently. They've hiked interest rates for the first time in 17 years. But the yen has been weakening, ever since then. Do you, expect yen carry trade to not lose appeal, even though the Bank of Japan has acted on interest rates?
No, I think it'll still be a very attractive trade, but the other side of it is that, yes, you're back at zero, and, so it was a celebration, and I suppose they've got to be applauded for doing it. The other side is you had very strong wage negotiations in the first part of the year, which is a strong point as far as consumption, and will be a strong point as far as consumption, and great for the workers and the employees and so on. And then the next part of it is, yes, the US dollar, well, it bounced to the upside and then the yen was sold off. The yen's given up a little bit, but it's still running, I think at the moment, the best part of about 150.4 against the US dollar. I wouldn't be surprised to see some intervention from the Japanese, but we'll just have to see how the BOJ plays. They've had a very busy week, Nandita. You wouldn't expect 2 big surprises from the Bank of Japan in a couple of days, would you?
Right. Lastly, gold is shining at fresh highs, and Bitcoin, it has hit a fresh high recently, although cooled off a bit. But for these 2 asset classes, what are your thoughts? Where are they headed?
Well, gold's really been strong. I mean, it's sitting at just under 22.30 at the moment. It's had pushed up over 2% overnight. So that was its thoughts as far as Fed Chair Powell. And it may have a little bit more horsepower to the upside. You could see some profit taking, but it's been dynamic over the last couple of weeks, the gold market, and silver, don't forget it. The other side, as far as Bitcoin's concerned, it's volatile. It was up at 73, down at 62, back up at about 67 now. So it's choppy, and I still believe that its best days are ahead of it. I was talking to you about, 4 weeks ago in Mumbai together, and I said keep an eye out on Bitcoin, and I wouldn't be surprised that, by month's end even, that it'll be higher than where it is at the moment.
All right, Peter, with that, I'm afraid we are running out of time. But of course, next time you're in Mumbai, don't forget to, touch base with us. We can have a chat in our studios once again. But thanks a lot for taking our time and joining in and, sharing your perspective with us this morning.
Cheers.